Hello students, welcome to English Classroom. I'm Dr. Suchitra Singh, Assistant Professor of English, VGDC, Hyderabad. Today's session is on pronouns for semester 1 prescribed by Osmania University. Today we will be dealing with pronouns. Now in our previous class, we have dealt with nouns. So nouns is followed by another class on pronouns. So today we will learn about pronouns. Before I start my class, I would like to start with a story. Now the story is on the screen. I will not read it as it is, but I will read with just nouns, and then I will replace it with pronouns, and let us see the difference. Once upon a time, there lived 4 cows in the forest. Every day they used to graze together in a particular. Every day the 4 cows used to graze together in a particular spot. The 4 cows were all friends. One day, a lion saw the cows grazing together. The lion wanted to eat the 4 cows. So he went to catch the 4 cows. When the cows saw the lion, all the 4 cows fought with the lion. The lion had to run away. A few days passed and the cows quarreled between the 4 of the cows and started grazing separately. One by one, the lion killed all of them. Now, what did you find when I read this? What was more prominent when I read? Yes, the 4 cows was repeated again and again, and it was redundant, and there was something awkward about reading, and what we could remember was only the 4 cows, the 4 cows, the 4 cows. Now let me just replace that by using pronouns. Once upon a time, there lived 4 cows in the forest. Every day, they used to graze together in a particular spot. They were all friends. One day, a lion saw the cows grazing together. The lion wanted to eat them. So he went to catch them. When the cows saw the lion, all of them fought with him. The lion had to run away. A few days passed and the cow quarreled between themselves and started grazing separately. One by one, the lion killed all of them. So now see, instead of using the same word, I have used they in certain places, them in certain places, themselves in certain places, him in certain places. So what we have done is we have replaced the nouns with pronouns, and so the flow of the story was smooth. So today we'll be learning more about pronouns. No doubt you'll have learned about pronouns in your previous classes, but here we'll be learning something more about pronouns. So what is our objective? Our objective is to see that you understand what a pronoun is, right? And you identify the different types of pronouns, right? And you also will be able to distinguish between singular, plural, subject, and object pronouns. And students will be able to use correct forms of pronouns in sentences, right? Above all, it will enhance your communication skills, right? So let's get started and understand what a pronoun is, what are the different types of pronouns, and how we can use different types of pronouns at different places. To begin with, let me start with what a pronoun is. A pronoun is a word that is used instead of noun or a noun phrase. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is a word that is used instead of noun or a noun phrase. Example, Amrita Pritam was a famous Indian poet and novelist. She wrote a novel named Pinjar. It was later made into film. Now look at this sentence. I'm talking about Amrita Pritam, but when I wanted to repeat Amrita Pritam's name for the second time, I have used a pronoun she. And what am I talking about? The novel that this Pinjar that is she has written. And when I wanted to talk about this novel for the second time, I used a pronoun it. So with this example, we learned that a pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun or a noun phrase. Is it clear? Now let us, and we also know that pronouns can refer to first person. That is the person speaking. Like I am speaking to you, right? And you will give your responses to me. I am the first person. We together are working on this classroom. Let us all make this online class a successful. So I, me, we, us are all first person pronouns. Now the second person pronoun is to whom this is spoken. Now this class, I am speaking to you. So you are the second person, right? And the third person pronoun or thing being spoken of when we talk about somebody else. That is he, him, she, her, it, they, them. In other words, pronouns are words that replace nouns, right? And they can refer to first person, second person, and third person. Now we have different types of pronouns. First type of pronoun is personal pronoun. Now look at this picture. When the three of them are there, we say we. When we are talking about one person, we say I. And when he is talking to the second person, he says you. And here a boy is holding a ball, and when it is a thing, they use it as it, right? And when we are talking about the third person, if it is a boy, it is a male gender, it is he, and female, she, right? So these are our personal pronouns. I, we, you, he, she, it, they, me, us, him, her, them. Now let us understand how we can use these personal pronouns in a sentence. Sheila bought the car for me. Now as we read in our definition, that the personal pronoun can be subject or object. Here, pronoun is an object. They know her. It is a subject as well as object. He is a teacher. This is a pronoun. They are players. So, personal pronouns represents a person or thing that can be either subject or object of a verb. They are I, we, you, he, she, we, it, etc. Right? Now, look at this picture. What is this boy telling to the other boy? Is this yours? He's asking a question. Is this yours? Right? The cat is yours. This is mine. When I say this is mine. So what I'm trying to do, or what they're trying to do, we are talking about nouns, that is, which is a pronouns of possession, right? We're talking about pronouns of possession. So possessive pronouns show possession, mine, yours, right? So this way we use our ours, right? It's a possessive pronoun. So they are pronouns like mine, ours, yours, his, her, it, and theirs. They show possession. Now let us understand how we can use our possessive pronouns in sentences. The glasses are mine. Possession pronoun, mine. The house is ours, right? The car is mine. This is yours. Yours. Right? The cat scratched itself. Right? So these are the examples how we can use a possessive pronoun. In other words, possessive pronouns, it's possessive pronouns show ownership, right? What do they show? They show ownership. So we generally try to talk in our daily conversations about our ownership. She is my daughter. He is my son. This is my house. That is your house, right? That is yours. This is mine. So we tend to use this in our daily language. So when we are speaking, we are using possessive pronoun. I won't say, Raj won't say, this is Raj's, this is mine, right? So instead of using the noun, using a possessive pronoun to show the possession, right? So is it clear? Now let us look at this example. This bird is saying, are you talking to me? And this bird says, no, I'm talking to myself. Are you, subject, talking to me? Subject and object is there. But here, no, I'm talking to myself. I is subject, myself, object is also the subject. So here both the subject and object are one. I love myself. Here also we see the subject and object is one. Oh, I've cut my finger. The action is to somebody else or to me. Here also the action is on me, right? So what is happening here? The subject and the object are one person only. In these three cases, the subject and object are one person only. So one bird or the bird or person, whatever it is. So what do we call such pronouns? Such pronouns are reflexive pronouns. What are reflexive pronouns? They serve as the object of the verb when the subject and object refer to the same noun. Example, myself, ourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, itself, themselves. In other words, reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and the object are same, as we said in this example. The subject and the object is the same. Here also the subject and the object is the same. Here also the subject and the object is the same. So what are reflexive pronouns? They are used when the subject and the object are same. Now let us understand this more clearly with examples. Sheila always thinks about herself. She thinks about herself. Object, Sheila. Both are same. The boy kicked himself. Subject, object is related to one person. You are too young to go out by yourself. Here also the subject and object is same. This car is a class in itself. Raj introduced himself to his co-workers. The choir practiced themselves to the point of exhaustion. I hurt myself trying to fix the door. So in a reflexive pronoun, the subject and the object are the same person, right? See, like how you reflect yourself in the mirror, the same way a reflexive pronoun where the subject and the objects are same. Now, what are intensive pronouns? Intensive pronouns also have the same words like reflexive pronouns. That is myself, ourself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. But In an intensive pronoun, it emphasizes the subject. The role of intensive pronoun is it emphasizes the subject. For example, I did it myself. I did it myself, emphasizing who did it? Myself. Sheila bought the car herself. Who bought it? Herself. She's emphasizing. I myself am a fan of Amitabh Bachchan, right? Sita herself organized the party. We painted the whole house ourselves. Who painted? Ourselves. So we are emphasizing here ourselves, herself, myself. All these are emphasizing the subject. Now, to have a clear understanding, what is the difference between when the same words are used? What is the difference between reflexive and intensive pronoun? Let us just make it more clear. Now, a reflexive pronoun is an object that reflects back to the subject. That is, we use reflexive pronoun when the subject and object are the same, right? Example, I am making myself a cup of coffee. The subject is me, the object is me, right? I am making myself a cup of coffee, right? So this is called as reflexive pronoun, where the action is reflecting back to the subject. Now in intensive pronoun, emphasizes a preceding noun immediately before the pronoun. An intensive pronoun may or may not refer to the subject. Let us look in this example. I myself wash the car. I myself, I'm emphasizing, right? Wash the car. Now, intensive pronouns actually are not necessary. They are there to give their extra words that we are using to add emphasis on the noun, right? So, in intensive pronouns are the same words as the reflexive pronouns. The big difference is in the use and meaning, right? So what we understand that intensive pronouns add emphasis to the noun or pronoun. And intensive pronouns are not the object of the sentence. The object is the other one, right? The subject and object are not the same in intensive pronoun. The position of intensive pronoun is either after the antecedent or at the end of the clause, right? Now, to make it more clear, the point is, supposing if you drop the reflexive pronoun from a sentence, the sentence either becomes incomplete or its meaning changes. But if you drop the intensive pronoun from a sentence, the sentence still remains complete and retains its meaning. It can usually be left out without changing the meaning. What is the major difference? That is, in an intensive pronoun, it is not, the subject and object are not the same. And in intensive pronoun, if you remove your intensive pronoun, the meaning doesn't change. But in a reflexive pronoun, if you remove the reflexive pronoun, the meaning changes. As simple as that. Now let us understand this with an example. Say, Sheila always thinks about herself. This is a reflexive pronoun. If I remove this herself, Sheila always thinks about what? It's incomplete. Now look at this sentence. This is a intensive pronoun sentence. I myself wash the car. I'll remove myself. I wash the car. The meaning still remains over there. So very simple if you want to know what is the difference. This intensive pronoun is additional where it is emphasizing. If you remove that, the meaning will not change. Whereas in reflexive pronoun, it is both the subject and the object. I think I've made it very clear. Now let us go to the another part of our pronoun, interrogative pronoun, which is very, very important, right? Day in and day out, we ask questions. And to understand something, questioning is very, very important, right? So interrogative pronouns introduces a question. And the main interrogative pronouns are which, what, who, whom, and whose. Now let us understand this with the examples. Which car did she buy? Which is our interrogative pronoun. What did you buy at the fair? What is our interrogative pronoun. To whom did you give the book? Whom is our interrogative pronoun. What are your qualifications? What is your favorite dish? So this is how we use these pronouns to frame questions, right? Now let us understand when to use which, when to use what, when to use whom, right? Right. Before that, I would also like to tell you that whatsoever and whosoever are also used. Whatsoever, whomsoever, whosoever are also used as interrogative pronouns. Example, whatsoever do you mean by that? So we also use such interrogative pronouns also to ask questions. Now let us understand where to use our interrogative pronoun what. What interrogative pronoun is used to ask questions about people or objects, right? We can use what to ask questions about people or objects. For example, what do you want for your birthday? I'm asking to some person. What is your name? What time is your exam? Right? So we can frame questions like this. So what pronoun is used to ask questions about people or object? What is this? Right? We can ask like that also. Next is which interrogative pronoun. Which interrogative pronoun is also used to ask questions about people or object. Which color do you like? Which country will you visit? Which pen do you prefer, red or black? So in this way, we can use our interrogative pronoun which, right? So it is also used like what for both people and objects. Now let us go to the next one, who. Who interrogative pronoun is used to ask questions only about people. When we are asking questions about people, we use our interrogative pronoun who. For example, who was sitting beside you? Who broke the glass? Who is going to lead the team? Who will take the initiative at the seminar, right? So who is used to ask questions about people. Is it clear? Now, we'll move to the next one. Whom. The interrogative pronoun whom is used to ask questions about people only. Now, even whom is used to ask questions about people. It is rarely used these days, but they use it. Let us see how. Whom did you speak to? Whom did you appoint? Whom do they call for the interview? Whom do you want? So see, we use who and whom for people. We use what and which for people as well as objects, right? Then we have our last interrogative pronoun, that is whose. Whose is used to ask questions about people or object always related to possession. When related to possession, we use our interrogative pronoun whose. Let us understand this with example. Whose book is this? Whose birthday is it today? Whose are those shoes? Whose dog is barking? So we have understood who and what what and which is used for persons and objects, right? What and which is used for persons and objects. Who and whom is used for people, and whose is used also for people or objects, but when related to possession. This is all about our interrogative pronoun. Now we'll move ahead. Look at this picture. What do you see in this picture? This hand is pointing out to the apple and saying, this is an apple. That is an apple. I'm pointing it out there. These are apples. Those are apples. So, we are demonstrating it with a pointed finger and trying to say about what we are talking. So, they are called as demonstrative pronouns. They are used to point out a specific person or object in a sentence. They can either be singular or plural. The words that you use, the pronouns that you use are this, that, these, and those. Let us understand by using them in a sentence. This is a nice place. Those are expensive bags. This is my ring. These are nice shoes, right? So this is how we use our demonstrative pronouns. Now note that a demonstrative pronoun represents a thing or things, and when used to represent thing or things, the pronouns can either be near or far. For example, this and these are used for near, and that and those are used for far. This music is good. That music is loud. These are mine. Those are yours, right? So we use, when we are using for far, we use that and those. When we are referring to near, we use this and these. Now, normally, we use demonstrative pronouns for things only, right? But we can use them for people when the person is identified. For example, this is Raj speaking. Is that John? When we are identifying the person. That sounds like John. Or else, this is Raj, or this is the boy who stood first in class. That is the boy who was found cheating, right? So when we are identifying the person, in such cases, we use our demonstrative pronouns. Otherwise, most of the time, we use demonstrative pronouns when we are talking about things, right? Now look at this picture. There are some words in this picture. Anyone. Anyone means, are we specifying? Anyone. Someone. Do we know? Someone. Anything. No specification. Right? Somebody. Nobody. Anybody. No one. All. Now when I'm using these words like someone, somebody, nobody, all, are we having anybody in specific in our mind? No. So, why did I have to show you this is that they are called as indefinite pronouns because they refer to unspecified people or things. They are not specifying. Someone, can you help me? I'm not specifying anyone. Anyone can come, right? So the pronouns that are used as indefinite pronouns are all, any, anyone, anything, each, everybody, everyone, everything, few, many, nobody, none, some, somebody, someone. Right? Now let us understand this with example. I didn't get anything. What thing? Nothing. I don't know which thing I'm talking about. I didn't get any. All are welcome to the annual day function. We are not specifying who has to come, all are welcome. Some have the power to convince others. Who is that some? We don't know. It's indefinite, right? So this way, we also use indefinite pronouns in our daily language. So what is an indefinite pronoun? It refers to unspecified people or thing, right? Like I didn't get any. All are welcome to the annual day function. Some have the power to convince the others. Now, what do you see in this picture? They are talking with each other. Now, this boy is talking to her. Is she also talking to him? Yes. So, what is happening? The action is reciprocal, right? They both are talking to each other. We call one another regularly. Is it only this person doing? No. She too calls and she too calls. So the action is reciprocal. Ouch! We cut each other. You cut me, I cut you. So the action is reciprocal, right? So what is it that whatever is done by both of them equally. Now, why did I have to say this? Because in our language, we use reciprocal pronouns. And what are reciprocal pronouns? They express mutual action or relationship. Example, each other, one another. Now, how to use this? The two thieves were blaming one another. It was not that only one was blaming. One was blaming and the other also was blaming. So the action was reciprocal. They were blaming one another. She and I like each other. It's not that only she likes me, I also like her. So our action is reciprocal, right? Sita and Geeta hate each other. Sita hates Geeta and Geeta hates Sita, right? The two brothers were supporting one another. Generally, when two brothers do some mischief and parents ask them who did it, one will support the other and the other also will support his brother. So the two brothers were supporting one another, right? So what are reciprocal pronouns? Reciprocal pronouns express mutual action or relationship, right? Words like each other and one another. For example, the two thieves were blaming one another. She and I like each other. Sita and Geeta hate each other. The two brothers were supporting one another, right? So in this way, we can use our reciprocal nouns. Now look at this. Peter is the one who gifted me a scarf. Peter is the one who gifted me a scarf. Are there two people in this sentence? No. But what is there? Peter is the one. Gifted me a scarf is another action. Both are related and this is being related by a pronoun who. It is made up of a fabric that is very soft. What is very soft? Fabric, right? And that is we are relating the two sentences with a related pronoun the. Similarly, in this sentence, you see, I told you about the woman who lives next door. Lives next door. Extra information about the woman, right? The girl whose leg was bruised in the soccer game is my sister. So what do these sentences tell us? They show the relationship, right? That is, they are called as relative pronouns. That is, They usually appear after a noun to help clarify the sentence or give extra information. See, Peter is the one who gifted me a scarf, is an extra information given, right? So they give an extra information. And the pronouns that we use are who, which, that, whom, whose, right? Let us understand the usage of these pronouns in sentences. The athlete who won the race practiced for hours. Sweets which we buy from the shop are tasty. Sweets which we buy, which is adding, and it is telling more about the sweets, that is, which we buy from the shop, are tasty. I don't know whose bag it was. This is my friend whose mother is an engineer. I'm giving extra information, right? The jacket which I bought yesterday has a hole in it. So here again, I'm giving an extra information. So what is a relative pronoun? Relative pronoun will usually appear after a noun to help clarify the sentence or give extra information. In other words, relative pronouns are used to refer to nouns mentioned previously, whether they are places, things, people, animals, or ideas. They introduce a clause which adds more information. Now note that when the nouns are persons, we use who, whom, and whose. This is very important. When the nouns are persons, we use relative pronoun who, whom, and whose. And when the nouns are animals and inanimate objects, we use which or that. For example, see here in this sentence, the athlete who won the race practiced for hours. But here I am talking about sweets. It's a thing. Sweets which we buy from this shop are tasty. So do we understand with this that we use which or that? How we use that we will see. The dress that I bought yesterday was costly. So dress is a thing. So I'm using a relative pronoun that. So is it clear? Relative pronouns are pronouns that are used to refer nouns mentioned previously, whether they are places, things, people, animal, or idea, right? And they introduce a clause which add more meaning, right? So this is all about our pronouns. Now, remember, when we are using pronouns, we do not use apostrophes with pronouns. Very rare when we are talking about a person, right? When the person is plural, then we use, right? We do not use apostrophes with pronouns. For example, the house on the corner is theirs is wrong. The red car is hers is wrong, right? You should say the house on the corner is theirs, right? And the red car is hers. So personal pronouns, unlike regular nouns, do not use apostrophes to form possessive, right? Even regular nouns do not use. So most writers don't have trouble with the possessive pronouns my, mine, his, her, and ours, right? Yours, yours, hers, its, ours. This is how we use our possessive pronouns without a apostrophe. In rare cases, we use our apostrophe. Now let us do some exercises to know if we have understood. Say fill in the blanks with correct option from the given blank. Now you try to solve them and then we'll check with the answers. One shouldn't betray dash country. Once, his, her. Which one has to come here? She prides dash on her wealth. What should be the right word? Oneself, itself, herself, her. Look at these people. Dash are the happiest. Who, those, they, that. Which one are we going to use? Who is Robert Browning? Who is Robert Browning? Dash is a poet. He's, he, his, him. Which is the right answer? The dog is chasing dash own tail. One's tail, its or his. Now if you have done the answers, let us check with the answers. Now here, one shouldn't betray one's country. It's a possessive pronoun, right? So in certain cases, in possessive pronoun, we use our apostrophe, but otherwise we don't use, right? She prides herself on her wealth. Look at these people who are the happiest, right? Who is Robert Browning? He is a poet. The dog is chasing its own tail. If you put apostrophe S, then it becomes it is. So here we have to use its, right? So what it should be? One shouldn't betray one's country. She prides herself on her wealth. Look at these people who are the happiest, right? Look at these people. They are the happiest actually. They are the happiest. Who is Robert Browning? He is a poet. The dog is chasing its own tail. Right? Next, we will correct. There is an error in this sentence. Right? Let us find out the error. She is one of those which help old people. Your need is greater than me. You have to find out the error. Everyone should take their seat. Me and Rahat is friends. What is wrong? Make the necessary corrections over here. Now, check with your answers. She is one of those who helps old people. Your need is greater than mine. Everyone should take his or her seat, whichever is appropriate. And it should be Rahat and I are friends. So these are the corrections that you should make. So this is all about pronouns. So what is a pronoun? Let us just warm up with this. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun or a noun phrase, right? Now, there are different types of pronouns, that is personal pronouns, which represents a person or thing, and they can be subject or object of the verb. Like, Sheila bought the car for me. They know her, right? Then you have possessive pronoun. Possessive pronoun show possession. Mine, ours, yours, his, her, its are some of the possessive pronoun. They can be used like these glasses are mine. The house is ours, right? And then you have reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronoun serves as the object of a verb when the subject and the object refer to the same noun, right? Example, myself, ourselves, yourself, himself, herself, right? Then we have intensive pronoun where the emphasis is on the subject, like I did it myself. Now, what is the difference between intensive pronoun and reflexive pronoun? That is, if you, in a reflexive pronoun, the subject and the object is same. In an intensive pronoun, it need not be the same. And if you remove the reflexive pronoun, the meaning changes. But in an intensive pronoun, it is only additional information. So if you remove the intensive pronoun also, the meaning doesn't change. Then you have interrogative pronoun. They are what, which, who, whom, and whose. What and which are used for both subject and objects. Who and whom for people and things. Who and whom are used only for people. And whose is used for people and objects of possession. Right? Then after interrogative pronouns, we have demonstrative pronouns. What are demonstrative pronouns? They are used to point out a specific person or object in a sentence. Like, this is a nice place. Those are expensive bags, right? So, this is my ring. These are nice shoes. So, in this way, we use demonstrative pronouns. Usually, demonstrative pronouns are used for things, but sometimes we can use them when the person is identified. Then we have indefinite pronouns, refers to unspecified people or things, right? So then the last one is reciprocal, where you express mutual action or relationship. And then we have relative pronoun, which gives us additional extra information. So we have learned all about pronouns. I hope you have understood. Now try to do the exercises that are behind the textbook. And if you have any doubts, please put your doubts in the group. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Don't try to go out unless it's necessary. Use your mask and maintain distance. Thank you once again.